All right, guys, I'm out here at the soccer field with JJRC's version of what looks like might be a DJI Spark type competitor. It does 1080p video. It has a little, I believe it's a 1 to 2 axis gimbal on the front. You can see it there. It is movable by the controller dial wheel, which is super nice. I'm gonna go ahead now. It's ready to take off. We're gonna test out a few modes out here on the soccer field. I'm also gonna show you what the video looks like. It's a pretty cool looking little quad, so I'm hoping it gets pretty decent video for the money. It also has a larger lens on here than the original one. I had another one of the first ones that came out probably about 6 months ago now. And this seems to be a version 2.0 of this quad. So a little bit bigger lens should allow a little more light into the sensor and actually get us a little bit better video than those super pinhole toy cameras. So let's go ahead and get it off the ground. And I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to the video mode. And it's recording right now. So two ways you can take off. You can hit this auto takeoff or land button right here, or you can do sticks down, I believe, to the outside. And I'm gonna hit the throttle up. And see how well it holds a position with the GPS on board. Just gonna bring it up to about eye level and walk around it. We're recording right now, so looking pretty good there. Pretty good, little guy. I love the motors on this. It looks almost exactly like the DJI Spark. Obviously, it's not quite as good quality probably, but looks decent in the air. Let's go ahead and do some forward flight. The hover looks amazing. It's really holding. Now let's check out the app. Let's see how much lag we have in the app. There's only a light amount of lag in the app, actually. The video's looking pretty good there. There's the soccer goal. I'm gonna try to avoid that. So I have enough real-time view to kind of be able to fly this thing and not worry about the lag making me crash into one of these goalposts or the fence. It's gonna come right along the fence line here and say hello to everybody. What's up, you guys? Do a flyby of myself. That's pretty cool. So what type of little quad is this? Well, it's something to fly close proximity. The version that I got came with 2 batteries. You can get the 2 battery version or the 1 battery version, make it a little bit cheaper. But honestly, if you're gonna buy a quad, go ahead and get yourself a quad that has a couple batteries at least. But this is the type of quad that you're gonna fly close in proximity, but you wanna shoot some quick, fun little videos. If you wanna learn how to fly a quadcopter, this will be a pretty cool one to start with for somebody that just wants to get their feet wet. Look at that video right there. It's gonna go full screen with the video right now so you can see what it looks like. I'm gonna pan to the right a little bit. The gimbal looks fairly level. There's the baseball field over there. Now let's pan to the right. Check that out. There's some kind of warehouse. There's Walmart over there. Another business. The baseball field. Let's fly over toward the baseball field. I'm actually really happy that there's not a lot of lag in this setup, which is great because traditionally there's quite a bit of lag in these Wi-Fi drones, coming back to even the newer iPhones and Android phones, especially when they get to be toy grade. Now I'm just gonna stop right there, kind of turn around back toward the soccer field here. This is so cool. I've been recording for 3 minutes now. Looking pretty good. I'm gonna go up a little bit higher. Let's go out toward the end of the field right here. Now, if you see the props in the view, you can turn the camera up and down. You see that? Just turn the camera down. So now you shouldn't see any props in the view. I know some of you guys are sticklers about that. I don't tend to care too much because I'm not trying to make like some kind of low budget movie here, aside from YouTube. Looking pretty good. Looking really good. Now, depending on how much wind there is, this is a lightweight camera gimbal, so the lighter the camera gimbal, the more susceptible to showing jitter, jello, because of the wind effect. Okay, so that's one thing you have to think about. Now let's go ahead, let's point the camera straight down at the soccer field. There you go. Straight down shot. Got a little satellite shot there. Let's just go forward. I'm still in position mode. I can also switch to altitude mode, which will take off positioning. If you're trying to do some cool pans or something like that, you can do it that way. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch into altitude mode now. I'm just gonna stop. And what that does is it starts to drift. It's gonna make the quad drift, and it's not gonna have position lock anymore, but it's gonna be a little smoother flying. So when I let off the stick here, it's just gonna drift in the direction that the wind's pushing it. So I'm gonna turn around here, and you really have to think about your trees and everything around you when you're flying in altitude mode, because you could slide yourself into a tree. But same thing with GPS, you wanna think about your speed. Now I'm gonna go ahead and switch back into position mode. And I'm gonna come down, I'm gonna lose a little bit of altitude here. And let's go ahead and let's get closer to the other end of the field over to my right. And we're just gonna hit that return to home, and we're gonna see how this quad does. So over there, it's a little speck over there in the air. Now I'm gonna hit the return to home button that's right on the transmitter. Push and hold it. Sometimes if they don't activate really quickly when you tap it, just push and hold it. Seems to be working. And now here it comes, coming back. And it should land within a 10-foot radius to be a decent return to home. So I haven't played with one of these quads in a while. This is kind of fun for me. I've been doing a lot of FPV stuff, but this is different. This is a lot easier than getting into FPV. Takes a lot more time and dedication. Also, you don't have to hook this one up to your computer. So if you're looking for a drone that you can fly and just have a nice flight time and something cheap to operate and buy batteries for, just get your feet wet and flying drones. Okay, that's looking pretty good right there. Let's see if it cuts the motors off without me touching it. Perfect. That's awesome. So I'm gonna stop the video and let's do the app auto takeoff this time. See if it will do that. I'm in position mode once again. Doesn't seem to be working inside the app there. Let me stop the video recording and see if I can do it there. Okay, that's not working out for me. Pressing that multiple times doesn't seem to want to work in the app unless the app crashed. So let's go ahead and hit it on the transmitter. Let's see if it works from there. Auto takeoff. Long press. And it comes up to about just a little over a meter. Now we're recording video. That little quad really does look cool in the air. You can get one that's gray like this one, gray and black, and I believe there's a white one available too. SD card goes right in the back, just like on the DJI Spark. So let's go ahead and fly around the field again. Right now it's at 60%. So I'm gonna come up here, I'm gonna turn to the right, and I'm just gonna cruise straight. You're gonna get your best shots with this quad flying straight. I think when you start to turn left and right and do pans with this quad, it doesn't look quite as nice. The video chops up a little bit. So your best shots, if you're looking for those like semi-cinematic shots, my suggestion is going to be to just fly straight ahead with this quad. And you'll be surprised at some of the stuff you capture. So I just came in close for a little bit of a hover. Close in, just so you guys can see a little bit of detail. And the wind is blowing, coming from the rear of the drone right now, so it's moving around just a little bit. And it will actually fight the wind to stay in its locked position for GPS. I love how simple these little quads are. It's moving around quite a bit right now. And I just landed it for a moment to check on my GoPro. So I'm back up in the air and cruising back out into the soccer field. It says I have 40% battery and 16 satellites still, and I have almost a 10-minute flight out of this battery already, which is actually really comparable to the Spark. So if you don't want to buy a Spark right away and you want to spend a little less money, you could grab this first and see if drone flying is for you, or if you wanted to give it away as a birthday present to some young person, or just fly it for yourself and have fun. The brushless motors on board make it really, really nice. couple years ago, there was a lot of brushed motor quads coming out, even a lot bigger than this quad, but they were ultra noisy. They had gears and they flew really, really bad. So let's go ahead and turn around now. I'm going to put it into the altitude mode, and we're gonna stop for a second, okay? And when I put it into altitude mode, we're gonna see how much speed we can get going here from one end of the soccer field to the other. So let's go ahead and hit the mode button, press it and hold it. Now I'm in altitude, no GPS, full throttle, baby. Let's go. Got a little bit of a headwind, but this is about the speed that you can expect right now. About 70 meters away there. Moving quite fast, and I'm gonna stop right there and turn before I fly into a goalpost or any of those lights over at the far end. There might be a football field over there. Okay, so we're gonna go, right now we're in altitude mode. That was pretty fast. I'm gonna go ahead and click back into position mode and turn back toward myself. Looking pretty good. And now it's no longer sliding on ice in that GPS positioning. And the vertical speed says like 0. Let's go ahead and come to a stop. Horizontal speed set up to about 5 meters a second in position mode. Now let's swing back around and go back to altitude again. I just want to double check that horizontal speed. And let's see what the max horizontal speed is. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So about 10 to 11 millimeters per second in the altitude mode versus around 5 to 6 meters per second in the positioning mode. So it's going to go a lot slower, more cinematic for you if you're in that GPS mode. But man, it'll really move out up to about 10 meters per second. All right, battery less than 10%. So should we go ahead and let it, let's go back into positioning mode here before we hit one of those trees. Now some of these quads will actually start to auto land, but I'm letting this one just go and do its own thing right now. So it's auto returning. It's back in position mode. And honestly, if you do get to this situation, go ahead and click the modes button one time and put yourself back in position mode if you are in altitude mode, because having GPS going really helps with your return to home. So we're coming down for a landing. Again, another return to home. Video's still going. Let's check out the camera direction. Looks like it's facing away from us. No, it's facing toward me where I first took off. Cool. Very good. I'm impressed. I'm not easily impressed when it comes to some of these toy quadcopters. I've flown hundreds and hundreds of these things, and this one did not let me down. I am pretty happy about that, because the worst thing in the world is ordering something from China when you get it, you fire it up for the first time, that nothing is working. And it does seem that the app did crash in place, so hopefully it saved that video file. I'm going to find out whether it did or not, and you'll see that in the review. That will be part of the review. So if that happened, let me be that example for you, and bring your quad in about 35% and land, and tap your video button again on your app to stop that video process, because I don't see any LEDs on the bottom. It appears to have turned off. So hopefully we save that video file. But thanks again for watching this review, guys. This is a cool little quad, and I have 3 batteries in total for this quad, so I'm pretty excited because it's really easy to fly, and pretty much anybody could pick up this thing and fly it with a smartphone. You will need 5G smartphone capability for your wireless video transmission for your Wi-Fi, so make sure you have a 5G version. That's going to be important to getting this quad up in the air and seeing your video view. So thanks again for watching, guys. I'm Justin Davis. Take care. Little JJRC Super Spark competitor. I'll see you on the next one.